Anytime you're playing music for the crowd instead of yourself.
Hello, contender. Welcome to the Hyperscape, our new fast-paced battle royale that brings verticality to the next level. In Hyperscape, up to 100 players will compete in a variety of game modes. Squad and solo crown rush are the main modes where battle royale champions are crowned. Neo Arcadia is a virtual, shimmering city designed to encourage vertical mobility and fast-paced combat situations. From sky-high towers to deadly interiors, you will constantly need to adapt your fighting styles. Once the battle begins, your personalized deployment pod is your transport to the battle. You will be able to drop in any part of the map, so pick your drop spot wisely. Hit the ground running, because you'll start with only a melee weapon. Hotly contested landmarks are known to contain abundant caches of gear, but high risk brings the chance of high reward. Gear is found inside buildings, closed off by breakable barricades and inside supply crates located around the map. As you traverse the city, looking for gear and enemies, you'll discover the different environments create diverse gameplay opportunities and challenges. Your competition may come from any angle. Every battle in Hyperscape is a fresh experience where you leverage the varied arsenal you will find in Neo Arcadia. Your loadout is not determined by the character you choose, but by the weapons and hacks you loot. From full auto assault weapons to powerful energy blasters, there is a tool for any playstyle. Hacks are game-changing abilities you loot around the map that grant skills for offense, defense, and movement. You can loot 2 weapons and 2 hacks and swap them at any time if you need to change your strategy. The choice is in your hands. If you find a copy of a weapon or hack you already have in your possession, you can fuse it, creating an upgraded version. Each item can be upgraded several levels, improving magazine size, damage, or cooldown duration. As you discover your footing in the Hyperscape, your squad will be there to help you. Use the ping system to sync with your squad and warn them of potential threats or alert them to potential resources. If an enemy manages to take you out, the battle is not over. At 0 health, you'll become an echo and you can help your squad by scouting ahead. When enemies are eliminated, a restore point appears in that spot. Find a restore point and your squad mates can bring you back into the fight. As your game master, one of my favorite tasks is to keep things lively by triggering battle events, such as the infinite ammo event or the low gravity event. Viewers on Twitch help influence my choice and can vote on additional events, so remember to play the crowd. Keep an eye on your map, contender. As the match progresses, sectors will decay and collapse throughout Neo Arcadia. If you're too late reaching a safe area, you will take damage over time and may be exposed to enemy attacks. Those skilled enough will enter the showdown phase. The Hyperscape crown will spawn in the final remaining sector. From here, you have two different paths to victory. Become the sole survivors or hold onto the crown for 45 seconds. You are now prepared for the Hyperscape, contender. We here at Prisma Dimensions hope you enjoy your stay.
Hey everybody, this is Kahlief here. We have a fantastic interview with the creative director on Hyperscape. JC, thank you so much for coming through. I'm really excited to talk to you after getting some rounds in with this super fun new BR. How are you doing so far?
Thank you. It's really cool to have you. We're really excited to show the game. I hope you get more luck and you get a win.
So I did. We just got our first win in the last game that we played, which was
congrats,
chaotic and madness, and it was fantastic. I'm really just curious about what the team was kind of going for with this particular venture into the BR space. We know it's a saturated market right now. We have a lot of games in the space. I'm really curious just to hear about your thoughts about why jump into the BR space and what you're trying to do with Hyperscape.
Starting point for us was really taking stock and seeing that more and more we started the game about 2 years ago. So more and more we were playing games, but we were also watching people play the games. And so we wanted to create a game where we were able to bring viewers, streamers, and players all together and interact together. So we wanted to create a game that was very spectacular, very fast-paced, high-octane, high-action, and that really never stopped, had a really good flow to it. And that was the starting point. Starting with this, we said, okay, we want a spectacular game. It makes sense that it's a battle royale. There's a lot of contenders coming in, so viewers have a good spectacle to watch. But we also want the game to be accessible, so you know the rules, but also surprise and make sure that everyone is always on the edge of their seat. So introducing a lot of new mechanics that will make sure that the game is very intense.
Yeah, I think one of the things I really like about the game so far is the verticality that you have in the game. Like the map is huge for one, and two, the conversation usually in every BR is like, oh man, I need to get high ground. And this game features lots of high ground where you're able to kind of run around and get things done. Talk a little bit about the vertical space in this game and why that was so important for the design.
Yeah, so the battle takes place in the virtual city of Neo Arcadia. So it's 1 square kilometer with 9 very different districts that come with their own layout and their own gameplay flavor. So it's really up to you to have a tactic on where you want to go and how you want to approach the situation. And because it takes place in a city, you have a lot of different pacing opportunities. If you're in the streets, it's very narrow. You hear sound around you. You see people jumping from the rooftops above you. If you manage to go into a building, it becomes close quarter. If you go to the rooftops, you have long lines of sight, and you can see the landmarks that are these key buildings with a lot of complex navigational interiors. And so there's a lot of cat and mouse opportunities. You're chasing enemies, they dive into the streets, they go into buildings, you follow them, then you hear other enemies coming on. So the density and the intensity of action is really something that we're looking at with the city.
Yeah, I think that when I first jumped into the first couple of matches, one of the first things I always try to think about when I jump into a new battle royale are the points of interest and where those kind of play in the space for some of that. And I like how you've all kind of made this kind of neon city that feels both kind of like a mashup of the Matrix and the meta space in a lot of different ways, which I really like as well. What were the conversations around the aesthetic that you wanted to go for this game as well?
The fact that the game takes place in a virtual world gives us a lot of freedom in what we can do in terms of visual codes, things like the decay, where the buildings turn back into polygons and crash back into the hyperscape. But we also wanted it to feel grounded and a little real, so we also went with buildings that you can see for today. So there's a lot of different diversity. You see things from today, you see things from 2054, and you have all the virtual world layer on top of it. This also gives us the opportunity to do things that we couldn't do in the real world, abilities like the hacks that let you basically play with the Matrix, let you do perform special abilities like becoming invisible, teleporting, and that's really a layer that we wanted to add to the game to make sure that there was more than just shooting. You can also be creative, be smart, try to lay traps for your opponent, be more agile as you navigate the world, or really go with a squad play, like supporting your squad and creating synergies with your teammates in order to decide who takes what hack.
Yeah, I one of the other things I really dug and was really I didn't understand until I got into a couple of matches was the respawn system, which I think is brilliant. I think that's really smart, really fun. Give the folks at home a little bit of information about that.
So one of the starting points for us is we don't want the game to feel like suddenly you have to stop. So when you're eliminated, you don't stop playing. Your squad mates are still playing, so you still control your avatar. You become an echo, so it's like the ghost of your character, and so you can scout around and help your teammates. So you still are useful. You can still see all the cool action going on, but more importantly, for your teammates, once you're eliminated, it means that you need to find a restore point, and restore points are items that drop from enemy players when they're eliminated. So they have a very clear mission the moment you've been eliminated is find another player or find the restore point from another player and bring you back into the battle. So we wanted to keep you ongoing and into the action.
Yeah, it feels super kinetic, and that part I really like a lot. It's you're constantly moving with the world kind of disintegrating underneath your feet when it's kind of collapsing around the parts of that. What was the idea around? And I'm sure again the game is early and there'll be tweaks, but I'm sure. You all had really interesting ways to kind of think about what that was going to be and differentiating yourselves from the way that other BRs have kind of had made their blue line, right? The one that goes away and kills you over time. What was the conversation around like how you wanted to affect that as well?
We wanted the flow to be good, but we also wanted players to be constantly on their toes and have to adapt to a lot of situations. So there's the situation that come from the battle itself, what other players are doing, etc. But we wanted a mechanic that was a bit more surprising, so that's where we introduced the decay. And basically, the whole sectors of the map are going to start to disappear over time. There's triangle appearing on them, and so this is the signal that, hey, you need to get out of this area. Otherwise, they will turn into wireframe and collapse back down into the hyperscape, and then you start to take damage, and you are in the open, so to pick off. And this is a part of all the mechanics that we developed to make sure that you always have to adapt. We also have every few minutes, there's an event that is going to affect the whole battle. And this is an event that the viewers can vote on. So using the Twitch extension, they will be able to vote on specific events that change the rule of battle. So as a player, you always have to adapt. And now there's a new low gravity event and all the players are slowly floating through the world. And so there's always something going on and the situations you're in are always different from an encounter to the next.
Yeah, you nailed that part in terms of the gameplay. Every match that I played in felt very, very different in the way that not only the speed of the game felt, but how I was kind of trying to figure out good tactics for taking on fights. In your mind, what's the kind of way that you want people to engage with the fights that they're going to wind up having? I'm sure, of course, they're going to be situational, but was there an idea that was the underlying kind of foundation for how you wanted people to have combat in this game?
There's the starting point is we really wanted to give players lots of freedom to express themselves and a lot of different skills that they could use. So if you're really good, really skilled at navigating, jumping from rooftop to rooftop, going into building, that's something that is really fun to do. If you are good with hacks, you have so many opportunities. I ended up being with a team of 2 other players that all had walls, and we were into a duel that was like just walls everywhere. So it's these very different situations all the time. But one of the core mechanics is really the notion of a cat and mouse. And that's where the city takes all its flavor, is trying to escape an enemy that is chasing you, dodging into an interior, being blocked by a wall that someone spawned. So having really rich interactions.
Yeah, it's pretty fantastic in the way that everything feels so cohesive. Last question would be, when folks are starting to just get their hands on the game when it drops, what are some of the first things you want them to kind of check out besides, just getting in their first matches?
For sure, for now, our goal is to really get the game out. It's a very exciting time. Our goal is to get a lot of feedback and make sure the game is really polished for when we open it to even more people. I think for me, I'm really excited for the Twitch extension and the way we try to integrate it into the core gameplay experience. Viewers on Twitch will be able to vote on key events, as I said, but they will also be able, during the open beta, to progress their battle pass. So you can watch your favorite streamer, you can earn rewards doing so, and then you can try to apply the tactics you learn from them when you go back into the game with a brand new outfit that you've unlocked in the battle pass. And then we also want to connect the streamers and the players together. So we introduced the notion of the one button invite, where basically a streamer can decide to say, hey, join me in my squad. They don't have anything manual to do. They click a button and there's a pop-up on your extension where you can just say, yes, I'm going to join, and we bring you into their game directly. So we try to bridge the different worlds to make it more interactive.
Yeah, it's working really, really well already. JC, thank you for your time. I'm really excited for the game and can't wait to hear more about what's coming down the line.
Thank you very much.